Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome once again to Greyfly.ai's take on AI and project management. I'm really pleased that I've got yet another global project management expert to hear what their views are around AI and project management today. So without further ado, a quick welcome to Gabor. Welcome, Gabor.
Yeah, welcome, Lloyd. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. So Gabor, would you like to just introduce yourself quickly in terms of your current job role and your experience in AI and project management as well?
Sure. So my name is Gabor Stramb, and I'm a project management practitioner, which means that I'm doing a 9-to-5 project manager where I run multiple projects because I'm working as a program manager at one of the major telecom giants here in the UK. With an extensive, almost around 15 years of experience, I'm really, let's say, reading and breathing, what is really project management is all about. And besides my free time, I actually been engaged helping people to get to know more about certifications and get them, certified in project management. So I would say that even in my day-to-day life is project management, but also outside of my working life I'm also very enthusiastic about project management, how to be more productive, how to get get certified. And on that front, I'm also sharing my thoughts through my weekly newsletter as well. So I'm trying to engage with many people as I can around project management.
Fantastic. Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing what your views are around AI and project management. But hey, Gabor, what an exciting time to be in project management. This all AI stuff, everything's going to be efficient and, it's going to help us deliver more projects for less. What's your take around AI and project management?
Right. So on my view, we should separate the productivity part of what AI can really offer, and also separate from the technical project management skills. What I mean by that, scheduling, managing costs, planning, and all the aspects. And I would say that AI can really support both areas, even though according to my view at the moment, we have more productivity capabilities at the moment than on a day-to-day technical project management side of things. But I do see that this will be an evolution. It will not disappear in a few years' time. It will definitely be with us, and it will evolve on the way that as project managers can spend more time on value-added activities, comparing those getting meeting minutes out of the way after each meeting, for example, where a simple AI tool can already do this for you, for example. So that's a big time saving there.
Yeah. So you're saying there. The first thing is I've got to say, it's interesting to hear that you're saying it's not going anywhere and it's just going to get better and better, I think, in terms of level. So for me, immediately one of the takeaways there is, start embracing it. If you're not embracing it, whatever it is, and let's come on to the it. So you talked about productivity and you mentioned an example there with minutes, etc. If we just explore on the productivity, what you're thinking about there, how AI can improve productivity.
Right. So I would say that so the project manager's tasks on a day-to-day basis, very much, vary from, running meetings, preparing, presentations or talking to customers or, creating baselines. And I would say that, project management skills requires, let's say, an overall, end-to-end view and understanding. So technically you have to be kind of mastering many different skills. Now, and that's why the career path is very much, I would say, long-standing career path, because you have to, mastering many different skills in that case. Productivity side of things, to going back and answering your question, is I would say that wherever we can save time to make sure we can, put more focus on risk management, put more focus on, our rigorous cost control, or spending more time with customers. I do see that currently there are AI options which can really help you in that. And I think that's where, if I can save an extra 1 hour on my day-to-day life each day, I definitely not just need to embrace the AI as a tool for me, but I have to bring AI right next to me. I need AI on my side. It needs to work with me side by side on a day-to-day basis, because I can focus on more value-added activities, which what I do see are the, working with the customers closer, getting a better understanding what their needs are, or helping, strategies, or even with stakeholders in that case.
So the value add being more of the human side of things there, and I presume that means things like negotiation, communication, decision making, that type of thing, and your view of productivity is almost fast tracking what
Right.
a project manager is typically done. So picking on your example there around risks, for example, perhaps having the right risks already identified, and not just the risks identified, but perhaps the mitigations, and perhaps even the action plans that are associated with the implementation of those mitigations. So really taking away some of that grunt work, administration work. is that the right phrase? Was that a reasonable playback of what you were saying?
I think that's a reasonable take, because also on the same time, when taking with risk management, so how can I do a very thorough risk identification, let's say for a new project which is starting. Now, obviously, the more experience you have, the more thorough job you can do, for example. So I'm not saying, let's say, someone with 2, 3, 4, 5 years of experience will not, able to do risk management in the right way. Simply those people will not necessarily have enough experience comparing with someone who has 10, 15, or 20 years. And because the whole profession is experience driven, so the more scars you have through the battles you fought in project management, you better you will get. So technically, on paper, the smarter you are. We can also put it this way. But that's why, for example, AI can already have, let's say, a considerable amount of information available, where if I'm going to add certain variables that can help me to get, let's say, a better results out of it, instead of me trying to figure it out, or also started to kind of meeting around a circle of many stakeholders, interviewing people. Somewhat might sound like a very lengthy process, but in the end of the day, you can save time with the right information, because many cases as a PM, if I have the right person with the right answers, obviously I can do better decision making.
Yeah, so and I do wonder whether that's a sort of short to medium view of the use of AI as well, in terms of that fast tracking of building that risk plan, as it were. And you touched on there that the human side, there will still be experienced people. I just wondered what your view is, because obviously the experience of those people could get captured within these systems, so that the system itself can get increasingly experienced, and not just one individual but multiple individuals, and I wonder where that stops and starts on that journey. Is it this point that I can talk at this thing and it tells me, based on the right context, this is the right risks, and then I just got to go and speak to somebody? Where do you think that sort of stops and starts, and maybe a view of where that horizon is, that time horizon is?
Okay. I think maybe the other phrase of that is that, so technically AI is not more than the revolution of our lessons learned databases. Let's put it this way, because technically we always gather this information, we put them into a SharePoint, we put it into an Excel table, we put it into some type of centralized data where people can look into it to feed the purpose, to make sure that your next project is just better, quicker, more efficient, and meeting all the expectations. Now that's where I see that AI is really, let's say, the revolution of that we're going from a very static database point of view to someone who can almost kind of helping you clarify exactly what you're looking for, instead of you trying to filter out data from a database. So make the long story short, I do see that AI is more in this revolution side of project management. So technically, this is disrupting the way we think, and the way we think about project management in the past 20 years. And I think since we're teaching AI what and how we would like to get something out of it, I think this is just only going to be in our advantage, and no risk or no scarcity that for example PM roles will disappear, because I do remember there was almost like a positive and negative hype. What I noticed that people were saying, yeah, we need AI, is all coming, and the others will say, oh, but what about all the PMs who's doing the job out there? And I do believe that this is more like an enabler instead of a something which we might need to be just scared of, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, I love the phrase guided analysis. So it sort of suggests you what to do. You can still take the decision. And also your point, I've seen the statistics. There's going to be no shortfall of project managers forecast in the next few years. Hey, as a race, a human race, we want to do more and more projects. We're embracing projects all the time, and I don't think that's going to go away. We'll come back to maybe that negative side in 1 second. If I just bring you back to the start of the conversation where you were talking about both the productivity and then the technical side. We sort of touched on the productivity side, but can we just open up in terms of the technical side, what you were referring to?
Right. So when I'm considering the project management technical skills, and that's where I see the estimation skills, for example, how to do properly like a bottom-up estimating, for example, using other tools, using other analysis type of techniques, because I think what we do learn through the best practices is that every project manager should make all the decisions on facts basis. So you need to do some type of analysis, you need to have data. Without data, that decision might not serve the best interest of the project. So I would say that that's where I would say the next stage, or maybe the 2.0 version of AI will definitely can give us a helping hand, because we do teach AI what we would like to get out of it, but also each and every project is slightly different. I mean, each industry runs projects slightly differently. So I would say that's where I think what we might going to see in the future, that there will be, let's say, a AI for construction industry project. There will be an AI support just for energy projects or telecom projects, because those projects are slightly different in terms of the focus. Because I was saying in a finance banking, all those projects are very much cost controlled, and then there is lots of emphasis on the timelines, because for example, if an application upgrade will not happen on time, that obviously there will be a significant impact on the customers in the end, that they cannot use, let's say, a banking application, for example. And then so each caveat or specification of why one project is running slightly differently, what's the uniqueness about it, that's industry specific. And I do believe that the next set of AI will be more specific on that, instead of me trying to teach it about this is what I do, this is what we're doing, and then please help me to support in this area. That AI most likely will have all this information already inside, already have the way of thinking to make sure that I can get more support out of it.
Yeah, I somewhat concur about, and it was interesting you used the version AI 2.0, because I think it goes back to which question you're trying to answer, and how standard projects are across industries. If you keep it at the very highest level, a project has a start and end date, and a project has a budget associated with it. So but if you want to get into you mentioned construction, I don't know which type of brick you should be using for this type of build, that's obviously a lot more in depth than those big questions. And so I do concur, and you already see in the marketplace that certain products are focused in on certain industries as well. But for me, it's about building that knowledge base, and the knowledge base is what AI thrives on. So already we see this with Gen AI about the answers it's providing, or so and so says it's not very specific for that. So there's the building the knowledge base, and then there's how you interpret the knowledge base, if you like, as well. Which probably brings me on to it sounds to me, and maybe I've got this wrong, that you're quite positive around the potential benefits of AI. Have I got that right, Gabor?
I think you absolutely got this right. I think AI is the next disruption in this project management field. And maybe that's not the right word, but if you look back, let's say 5, 10 years ago, even 15 years ago, we all started this agile transformations and stuff. And I think, there was a lot of reluctance to doing it. Now, I think we reached the point when we are more open for changes, whereas previously, even just for an agile transformation, we were like, oh, don't do it. We already know how to get things done. This is just too complicated. Like, it will not work everywhere. It depends, and it will pop up everywhere. So I would say that I think we started to have this mindset change and mindset shift, where now I think AI coming into the picture, I'm very positive about that. I do believe that, we always need to look for some type of innovation and do things differently for the greater good in the end. And I think, the AI is really kind of go, in that path, because, this profession and project management should evolve on the way that, what is the next, or how to phrase it, that so we need to do things differently to get a different results. I'm not saying that the PMs are not having all the tools to successfully deliver something, but we always need to kind of challenge the status quo on the way that, okay, is there another different way of doing it where we can have some other benefits, and benefits being, doing the same thing with less effort, or you're going to save some more time, or you're going to have more value added activities, which I keep coming back, which is, is always different. But, my view is to working more with your customers, with your stakeholders, better understanding their needs, where they see the value, because, I can be a very smart person saying that here's the value, but if it's not the value for the customer, then, it's just a one-sided discussion, right?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, that goes back to what you said at the beginning. It's not going away. So it's about making the most of it and working out you as an individual, your plans, or as a company, what your plans are around AI as well. And I think you'll find that when we look back at this moment in history, those companies that embrace more, don't get me wrong, objectively embrace,
Right.
will probably be the leaders of the future, as it were. But come on, we've got to be adults in this. There's got to be some negatives around this AI and project management. What's your headlines in terms of where it concerns you, Gabor?
That's a very good question. Where AI is really concerns me, I think it concerns me that some people, they are not willing to change, or they're not willing to learn, and that's where they either go to a different career path, or just simply start moaning about it. But I think, in general, in project management, you need to embrace the change. You need to, keep understanding that you are on a learning curve. And let me give you a good example. So once one of my mentors told me that, to run $100,000 project, you need to have a project manager, right? To run $100 million project, you also need a project manager. Now, what's the difference between these two? Is the amount of experience. Now, you learn by doing. You have your lessons learned. Also, you are kind of educating yourself. So technically, you have to constantly evolve. You're not doing the same thing day after day, week after week, month after month, and you have to kind of embrace the fact, or you might need to find another profession.
Well, I think it's an interesting point. For me, when I look back at the best people that have been around me, their adaptability to change is one of the big benefits, and also what you said earlier, which is the power skills, the soft skills. Those people, it's almost like the base skills. I know how to use Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, and I can read documents, but really it starts becoming the interpretation and then the influence of those insights, and I think that is where we'll get to. I think in the short term there might be the question marks about the insights being presented in the first place. Are they valid? But I do think that will be a moment in time before we go through, and we, dare I say, we trust the AI, which at the moment we're not sure we're trusting it. We're not sure whether it's going to scare us as well. But it's good. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't believe that there is a future as well. So it's good to hear somebody as experienced as yourself that also sees the the natural way to embrace it, as it were. if I just put ourselves in the mind of a company a second, from
Right.
your perspective, what would a company do to start embracing AI in project management?
I think they should consider it, and they try to see that which area of project management it will give them value. So for example, like ultimately, risk management, ultimately, cross-project dependencies, which we definitely can improve a lot. I mean, not because we not have the knowledge, but is a very manual work. For example, the cross-project dependency identification, and it requires lots of experience and lots of knowledgeable people just to spotting that if 2-3 projects running at the same time, and you may be utilizing the same resources, or from a technological perspective, can cause challenges. But that's where companies can really benefit of AI, because there are all the tools available which can really helping you in that area. And this will be in the benefit because, according to PMI, we have at the moment more projects fail than more projects succeeding. And why is that? Because what PMI measures is, we created a project scope with the baseline. If we have to change it, now even a single change already considered that we deviating from the original plan, hence considered, let's say, a failed project in that case. So, I mean, all these tools on a bigger scheme of things, they are saving time, they were saving money for the companies, and trying to reducing the risk and increasing the success rate of that project itself.
Brilliant. So get on your bikes and start working out how you're going to use it. Right. Just my last question for you, Gabor, is if there was one takeaway that you'd like the listeners to walk away from this conversation, what would be your headline?
Embrace, not resist, let's say.
Brilliant. I love that. Embrace, not resist. Gabor, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, sir. And I look forward to ongoing conversations.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for having me, Lloyd. Appreciate it.